Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday and an upcoming great New Year as we wrap up the year 2019. And speaking of that, the Golf Association of Philadelphia recently honored its Players of the Year. The annual awards dinner, the Players Dinner, was held at Radley Run. And coming up today on Inside Golf, we're going to introduce you to some of those award winners and talk more about the players being honored at the GAP Awards Dinner. Next on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company. Quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. As promised, it's time for you now to meet two of the players who were recently honored by the Golf Association of Philadelphia as Players of the Year in their respective categories. Jeff Osberg was the Player of the Year overall for GAP, and the Junior Player of the Year was Austin Barbin. And with their stories, here's Marty Emino.
Jeff Osberg left no doubt who the top player in GAP was in 2019. He earned his third Player of the Year award with another historic campaign. Similar to his 2016 season, Osberg registered impressive victories in both the Open Championship and Joseph H. Patterson Cup, as well as taking home the Silver Cross Award. And also like 2016, he finished a runner-up in the BMW Philadelphia Amateur and placed top 10 in the Mid-Am. Osberg earned his first William Hyman III Player of the Year award in 2015.
It means a lot. You know, I take a lot of pride in the Golf Association of Philadelphia, their events, and obviously put a big priority on competing in those, getting ready for them. You know, set a goal at the beginning of the year. Really want to win the Mid-Am. It was kind of my goal this year, but you know, the Player of the Year is always kind of top of my mind. We've talked about it before. You know, there's years I've had good years and not won it. And then I've had a couple great years like this year. So it's something I'm extremely happy and proud about, and it was a big priority at the beginning of the year to kind of regain and be the Player of the Year again.
In a parallel to 2016, Osberg opened with a couple of near misses before finishing on a white-hot roll. Looking to complete the career Grand Slam, he led the Mid-Am at Rolling Green with 9 holes remaining before his putter faltered down the stretch. He tied for 9th.
You know, just didn't get the ball to go in the hole, and you know, was pretty upset because it's the one tournament that I haven't won. It's obviously, you know, typically my highest priority of the year is to come out and try to do well in the Mid-Am. I've had a couple close calls this year. I was in a really great position with 9 holes to go, but you know, that's all it was. I mean, there's 9 holes that were just as important as the first 27, and unfortunately, it didn't. You know, I wasn't able to do it.
Weeks later, at the BMW Philly Am, the Pine Valley Golf Club member qualified as medalist and advanced into the final before falling to defending champion Jeremy Wall. Yes, Osberg was disappointed with the outcome, but he knew his game was ready to shine. In the Open at Huntington Valley, At a course where he is a former club champion, Osberg put it all together. The 35-year-old was the lone player to card 2 under par rounds and finished -5 for the 36 holes. He is just the 5th amateur in the event's 115 years to win more than one Open title.
Being fortunate, I was a member there for 5 or 6 years, played it plenty of times, and we've had quite a few gap tournaments at Huntington Valley. They've been a great ambassador for Philadelphia golf, and a place that I feel extremely comfortable playing. Played it in every different type of condition, which I think is helpful. You know, when it plays firm and fast, it just plays so different than when it plays, wet and a little bit slower. So I think just having the mindset of knowing that it's a place I'm familiar with, a place that I was very comfortable off the tee and into the greens, and then obviously putting. Having John Layton on the bag there, grew up playing there, obviously provided another layer of comfort. I felt like I had a great mindset putting. I really used that to carry it forward for the rest of the year. I thought it was probably the best that I putted, but maybe focused on putting. I made so many great par saves in the back nine, so many great 5-6 footers that if you miss, all of a sudden, some doubts creep into your mind. But to really knock all those in, I could see it taking the wind, out of the people that were chasing me, thinking maybe they had a chance to get back in it. And, I hit it great all week long. I've been hitting it great all year, but I really thought that the key was just, making some of those clutch 5-6 footers throughout the round to not let any of the momentum slip away. You never know. I say this all the time. You never know when it's your last win. You never know when it's your last interview doing these things. So to get back, after the year before where I really thought I had a great chance at winning at St. David's and came up short in the playoff, to get back, the next year and win it was pretty amazing.
In the Patterson Cup at Applebrook, the year's final major, Osberg opened the first round with a 4 under 67. When weather canceled round 2, the tournament defaulted to first round scores, and Osberg was declared the winner. It is his 3rd Patterson Cup victory.
Another place where I got the putter going, made some really good saves in the beginning. I thought some of the holes that typically played pretty easy, I kind of had a rough start there, but was able to settle it down. I think I eagled the 10th hole and really set off the back nine to get it down to 4 under par, which turned out to be the only round that we finished. I always thought I have a great mindset for stroke play. I thought I always did well in the U.S. amateur qualifiers. The Patterson Cup used to be 36 holes one day, which I loved. Now that it's 2 days, I think it just enhances the tournament. Obviously, a much bigger field, a much stronger field, but it really brings us all together. The mid-am stroke play, but it doesn't include the college kids, some of the junior players, the Philadelphia Am, which includes everybody's match play, and then our stroke play championships, the Patterson Cup. So in my mind, all of the majors are equally as important. But in my mind, from a stroke play standpoint, obviously the Patterson Cup is the penultimate for us in terms of the quality of the field.
Regardless of the challenges or the challengers, Osberg continues to add to an impressive resume. What's next?
Success builds on itself, knowing what it takes to win. I think having realistic expectations. It doesn't take 10 under to win most of our golf tournaments. Knowing that, I don't have to be the first round leader to win a golf tournament. Knowing that when I am the first round leader, it doesn't mean that I've won the golf tournament, because I've lost plenty after being the first round leader, and I've won a lot of them not being the first round leader. So I think just having the mindset of playing it one hole at a time, one tournament at a time, one round, one shot at a time, and not really getting distracted in what it means in the overall, scheme of that round or your score, where you are in terms of the leaderboard. I typically, pay very little attention, especially in the first round, to what people are shooting. Rarely do I have any idea. And then a lot of times in the second round, I typically don't ask my caddy until maybe the 15th or 16th hole, really where things stand, unless I for some reason I think I need to know that information. So I really just kind of try to focus on myself, focus on playing good golf, hitting good golf shots, and let the rest take care of itself. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it's not good enough, and that's okay.
It's hard to believe, but Austin Barbin, the 2019 Junior Player of the Year, racked up just as impressive a season as Osberg. The 18-year-old won 2 junior major titles and qualified for 3 USGA events en route to his first year-end honor.
Beginning of the year, me and my dad got together and we kind of just thought up with some goals that we thought that were reachable and achievable. Wow. And Gap Junior Player of the Year was the top 3 goal that we had, and I wasn't going to be satisfied until I achieved that award.
Barbin of Loch Nairn started strong and never looked back. He defeated Patrick Sheehan for the Junior Boys Championship in June when he went eagle, birdie, birdie, birdie over a 4-hole stretch on the back nine to seal a 5-4 victory. A result that almost wasn't due to a night before scare.
So I guess it was 4 a.m. Right before the semifinal and the final match. And I remember stretching, and I remember turning a certain way, my arm going a certain way, and my arm just clicks out. And probably the most excruciating pain I've felt in my life. And it was out completely. I couldn't move it either way. My shoulder was out. I couldn't move. It was just completely out. And I was screaming. I was like, it was just a terrible experience. So I asked my brother, I was like, go get dad in, go bring dad in. Like, I know he's like wide asleep, like sound asleep, but go bring him in because I need to get this fixed. And like, because I know he knew how to pop a shoulder back in because he's done it before with himself and with a few other people. And sure enough, he popped it out and twisted it back in, and it just sprung back in. And I was like, and it was still very painful. And I iced it for about 20 minutes and woke up in about an hour, went downstairs my basement to just do half swings because we were about to withdraw, just see if I can actually hit the ball or advance the ball 150 yards. And I went from half swings to, I was like, okay, it feels okay. 3/4 swings and the full swings. And then I was like, yeah, I think I can do this.
Weeks later, in the Chrisman Cup, the Junior Stroke Play Championship, he carded a victorious 4 under 67 at the 1912 Club to defeat Sheehan by 1 stroke.
I was just playing solid. My goal was just to play aggressive and hit middle of greens, and kind of the same mentality I had all summer was just be consistent in the fairway, in the middle of greens, and putts are gonna drop. And shot 67, and I knew that was gonna be hard to beat. Sure enough, the weather happened to conclude the play, but that was also kind of a bonus winning that event in a one-dayer. That fired me up to win this event because I knew this was the one I could win for sure.
Taking his talents to the grander stages, he qualified for the U.S. Open Sectional, the U.S. Junior, and U.S. Amateur. All remarkable feats unto themselves. The success is great, but it's the journey that Austin treasures most. One with his family, Mother Allison and Father Andy, and brothers Andrew Jr., Evan, and Zach as well. That is, when they aren't working or playing golf.
That's quite a blessing, honestly. It's pretty rare for someone's parents to, not just one parent, but both parents to be on your journey. That just means even my brothers came out to watch. It just means so much more than golf. Just having that family aptitude is awesome, especially when you have that support behind you. You know you can come back home and everything's going to be all right because you have shoulders to lean on and you have 2 parents and brothers that love you, and it's awesome to experience this journey with them.
Wow. 2 great champions with 2 unreal resumes. For Gap, I'm Marty Emino.
Thanks, Marty, but we're not done meeting a couple of honorees. Stay with us. More on the Senior Player of the Year and the Super Senior Player of the Year. That's next on Inside Golf. Welcome back to Inside Golf, and we have more coming up now on the recent Players' Dinner held by the Golf Association of Philadelphia, honoring various Players of the Year. You've already met the Player of the Year, Jeff Osberg, the Junior Player of the Year, Austin Barbin. Now it's time to introduce you to the Senior Player of the Year, our good buddy, Oscar Mestri, and the Super Senior Player of the Year, and how many times has he won that award, Don Donatoni. Here with their story, once again, is Marty Emino.
Overbrook's Oscar Mestre needed quite the season to supplant Gap icon Chip Lutz from the top of the senior world. And boy, did he. Stringing together an ultra-consistent 5 months that included a pair of tournament victories, Mestre grabbed his first Senior Player of the Year award. Lutz had won 9 consecutive year-end honors prior to this season.
You know, tremendous honor. Still hasn't completely sunk in. playing throughout the season, I didn't allow myself to think about it because I didn't want it to be the impediment to succeeding. But reflecting on the season, I'm exhausted. I'm very proud, and I'm relieved. Having led the entire season, the human in me kept thinking, don't blow it. Getting to that finish line at the end was made even more difficult by that. The angel and the devil on your shoulders. One saying, hey, continue to play, you're doing great, and the other saying, hey, don't blow it. This'll go down as one of the worst in history. But it's very exciting, and to be succeeding a player like Chip Lutz is I couldn't have asked for anything better.
Mestre, age 60, opened with a victory in the Warner Cup Gross at Burlington in May. A victory made even more meaningful than the trophy he would eventually hoist.
You have those defining moments where you need to do something to spark or protect the round, and I did those things. And then I kind of got hot, and I really, held on for the victory. So it was exciting. It was exciting. It was the first tournament, that I had played since Ray Thompson's death. So, I thought about him a lot, and what would Ray do, kind of thing. And I got to 1 under, and the human side says protect, and Ray Thompson would have said keep going. I know he would have said keep going. So I really just channeled that, and I kept going, and I got to 4 under. I bogeyed 17 to get back to 3 under, and then made what I thought was a pretty hard par on 18 to stay 3 under and secure the championship.
He finished as a runner-up in the Chapman Cup Gross at Moselle Springs, as a semi-finalist in the Brewer Cup presented by Callaway Golf at Fieldstone, and finished in the top 10 of the Senior Amateur Championship at Little Mill. The Warner, Chapman, and Senior Amateur comprised the Senior Silver Cross, an award Mestre won for the first time by a stroke.
A goal of any player in the Open division, in the Senior division, right, Super Senior division, to have to play strong throughout the season is nice, and again, it speaks to your mental fortitude. Because it's not only playing well and talent, it's how do you keep your head together and your mood swings. I mean, we're talking about over a 4-month period, right? You have good days, bad days. We're amateurs. We're dealing with a lot of other stuff other than golf, right? So staying in the moment and things like that are difficult, and to accomplish the Senior Silver Cross is without doubt one of my proudest accomplishments.
Additionally, Mestre finished top 10 in the weather-shortened Patterson Cup and also qualified for his first U.S. Senior Amateur. Why the strong push the last year or so for Mestre?
I think that there's several factors. You're at a stage in your life in which you're a little more comfortable, right? You're comfortable in your own skin. I think additionally, you're with people you're very comfortable with. These are individuals I've competed with and against for some of them 45 years. So you're comfortable in that. You're comfortable with your surroundings. You're comfortable with the people, and that helps your game. I've been able to stay in reasonably good shape. I think that's helped me. I think again, not to be, make too much of the point, but Ray Thompson was such a good role model. To see a guy who at 67 was still ultra competitive, wanted it just about as much as anybody, if not more, and practiced and worked hard. So I'd say that as I've aged, and I think, hey, I've been competing for a lot of years, maybe it's time for me to stop, I would always see Ray Thompson at the end of the range, still hitting balls, still being competitive in gap events, and it helped me to refocus and to go after it again, if you will.
Don Donatoni won the Super Senior Player of the Year for the 7th straight season. Yes, 7th. And once again, like many of those prior campaigns, he dominated from start to finish. The longtime White Manor member opened with victories in the Warner Cup Gross and Chapman Cup Gross.
This is as meaningful, a POY as the first was. What I found is, at the senior and super senior level, the competitive level, gets deeper every year, gets stronger every year. So when you win one of these awards, it's even more satisfying. So this one was sweet.
In addition to the aforementioned victories, the 71-year-old reached the semifinals in the Brewer Cup, tied for 6th in the Senior Amateur, earned the Super Senior Silver Cross Award, and teamed with Marion's Carl Everett to take the Senior 4-ball stroke play. On the statewide front, he also claimed a pair of trophies, the Pennsylvania Golf Association Senior Match Play and Senior Amateur Championships.
I was playing very well early in the year, and that helped me to build, a points lead that I was able to kind of sit on and built a cushion, which I didn't have last year. Last year I got off to a terrible start and I had to kind of fight from behind, but I felt, you just can never give up in this game. You just never know what's going to happen, and fortunately last year I was able to nose out, Robin, and with the very last event, the Tournament of Champions, and this year was a little bit easier.
Donatoni used a robust off-season workout program to get his body and game in shape before the start of the year. He wanted to avoid a slow start that occurred in 2018. However, that plan almost backfired when he injured himself.
I was in the simulator room at White Manor, on a regular basis, just kind of working on my swing, maintaining my flexibility, working on my strength. I was, exercising, lifting weights, doing what I need to do to stay strong, so maybe I could get off to a better start. However, because of some of the exercises I went through and some of the lifting I went through, I had, unfortunately, a hernia in early April. And I remember it was April Fool's Day, April 1st, when I discovered I had a hernia. Had to have it repaired, and it put me back about 6 weeks. So the doctor, fixed me, but told me that I couldn't be chipping and putting for 2 to 3 weeks, and he was right. And that's all I could do was chip and putt, and then after 4 to 6 weeks, I was finally able to, swing a little bit harder and finally hit the driver a little bit, but it kind of set me back. So very, very strange that I had that month-long setback, but going into May, maybe for some reason I didn't have high expectations.
So where does Donatoni go from here? He isn't sure, but he knows one thing: it's already been a great ride.
I always felt I had the game and the shots and the shot-making ability under pressure to perform well. I always felt that. And I've been able to demonstrate that, on a fairly consistent basis. But I do recognize, I'm a realist, and I do recognize that all these good things do come to an end at some point. And if I wasn't to win another GAP event or another state event or a national event, I can look back and hold my head up high and say, you know what, I've done a pretty good job, with my hobby.
Congrats to Oscar and Don on fantastic seasons. The senior ranks are always uber competitive, and boy did these two shine. For GAP, I'm Marty Emino.
At Citadel, we're here, and here, and here. Whether you're managing money, purchasing a new home, or saving for that special moment, we are here for you. Citadel, banking with one focus, you.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Our thanks to the Golf Association of Philadelphia and its recent Players Dinner, and I hope you enjoyed our little segments there, 2 of them, with 4 of the award winners, Player of the Year, Senior and Super Senior Player of the Year, and the Junior Player of the Year in GAP. And coming up as we wrap up 2019 and get ready for 2020, Inside Golf's going to have a special show on the new World Handicap System. Maybe you can figure it out with us. And we'll also have a sit-down one-on-one interview with arguably one of the best amateur golfers ever in the history of Philadelphia golf, Jay Sigel. That's all coming up in the weeks ahead here on Inside Golf. Hope once again you're having a great holiday season. And remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. We'll see you next week. I'm Harry Donahue. Thanks for joining us here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company. Quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.